for your girl.
That's right, it's a podcast.
It's pop for your girl.
We got to go at.
Pop for your girl. It's pop for your girl. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pop for Your Girl. It's your girl, Nwugochi, and if it's your first time joining us, I just want to say welcome to the Pop for Your Girl community, okay? So today, we are talking about taking a seat at the table. So y'all know I had to bring none other than my girl,
Yes.
Miss London Elixir.
Hey.
Yes, y'all. I'm so proud of this chick right here, y'all, because she is an author.
Yep.
Okay, she's a producer.
Yep.
Okay, and she is an entrepreneur, y'all. If anybody knows about taking a seat at the table, it's her.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So y'all know with the Pop for Your Girl, we always do the Go Girl segment. So today she's our Go Girl.
Hey.
Go Girl.
Hey.
Nah, but Go Girl, I'm so proud of you for real, because she wrote this book, y'all. It's called Pray Time Off.
Yes.
And it is amazing. It really is encouraging. I'm just going to read a little bit, like, you know, the little details behind here. I'm just going to read this little part right here so that y'all can know what the book is about. Okay, PTO, Pray Time Off, is for anyone hoping to pursue their passion as a full-time career. London Elixir shares key moments from her personal journey of leaving her 9-to-5 to become a full-time entrepreneur as a music producer.
Yes.
Okay, y'all, this is like a faith-filled book, so I'm gonna put the link down below so y'all could go get this. You
Yes.
have to get it if
For
you
real.
got any part of entrepreneurial in your blood running through your veins, in your system, and you just want to scratch that itch. This is going to give you that push to scratch that itch and step out on faith and do that. So
Yes.
I just want to talk to you about the book, like really,
Yeah.
like, you know, what is the book about? Like, you know, how did it come about? Like, tell us the tea. Tell us
Okay,
the tea,
so the
sis.
tea is, so like you said, the book is just kind of about me sharing my story of leaving my 9-to-5 to become a full-time entrepreneur. But what inspired me to write the book was that after I left my 9-to-5 last year, a lot of my peers and just people from Instagram or people who know me personally started reaching out to me like, how did you quit your job? I'm trying to get like you, you know, what
Right.
did you do? And God just placed it on my heart to write about my experience because it's a different perspective from what most people were expecting. It's different from what you usually hear about. It's not like one of those, oh, I was sleeping in my car stories.
Yeah.
And it's also not one of those, oh, I just met this person and they put me on, or
Right,
I got a
right.
major. It's like an in-between type of story. And I don't feel like those stories are told enough. So I wanted to tell it also from a spiritual perspective because we
Right.
also don't hear about that enough.
Right.
So that's what inspired me to write the book. My experience personally was very faith driven, like you were saying. And it was just necessary for me because I felt like that was the best way to answer the question of how did you
Yeah.
do it with more detail and, you know, just to give people an understanding of what you might have to face if you try to take a leap of faith
Amen.
and mentally
Amen.
what you need to prepare. So
There's a lot to prepare for.
Yes.
But that was kind of that supply and demand type of thing. Like, even when you think about people hitting you up in your inbox, like, there was a demand for your
Yeah.
book, sis.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
It is crazy, like, because I never even, like, if you'd have asked me last year at this time, I didn't even know I was going to write a book, and now it's out. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's really important to just
Won't
kind
he
of
do it?
listen, keep yourself open to
Yes.
what God has for you because you never know what it is. Like, I was just focused on music, and then that demand came, you know what I'm saying? And it was hard for me to just give a quick answer. And it was all time, and it was like multiple people. It wasn't just like a couple people asked, like to the point where people were like, hey, like, can I pick your brain? Like, I'll take you out to lunch. I just want to ask you a few questions. Like, you know, like it was a high demand.
Yes.
And I was like, man, there was so much that went into that. I don't even know where to start. And
Man.
now the book is there.
Sis, we're going to go into that supply and demand a little bit later. But, you know, was there any type of, I mean, of course, like when you're doing anything new, there's always going to be some type of fear and stuff there. But how did you overcome the fear of actually, you know, writing the book, like the process behind it? Because, you know, God can give us a vision, or we can get a vision and we can even take the steps to write the vision and make the vision tangible. But when it comes to actually manifesting the vision, like, what can you tell people about that?
That's big because I started writing the book. Like, I quit my job in May, and people started asking me like immediately. And I think in October, toward the end of October, when I came to the Bible study that we have here, and I was like, I think I'm going to write a book because people keep asking me, and you
right,
were like
right,
one of the
right.
first people to say, "Oh, write that book, girl. You better do that." Like, because it was just kind of like a small, like, you know, a little seed in my mind. And then you said that, and I was like, you know what? I will write this book, you know? So thank you for that, because that was like bigger than you even know, you know? So I went ahead and went off of that, and that's when I went ahead and made the outline. So I wrote the book. I started writing the book in November. It was pretty much done, like the first draft in January, but I don't know. I was not focused on putting it out. So the manifestation thing is really important, because I was distracted. I was thinking like I need to be doing stuff music related, and I need to be focused on this, and I need to, you know, like music started slowing down, and then the whole world slowed down with the pandemic, and like everything that I had planned to do, I couldn't do anymore. And it was like, well, what can I do now?
Right.
And God was like, I told you to write that book last year, you know, so get the book out. So that was like my struggle, just like, you know, because I didn't really see, like, I knew God told me to write the book, but I didn't really see it as like a source of income, or like, you know, I didn't see it as like a big deal, you know. It was just something I was doing. So when everything slowed down and kind of forced me to focus on, well, what's the last thing God told you to do? It's like, oh, well, you didn't do it. Maybe that's why music is kind of slow right now, because you're not focused on what you're truly supposed to be focused on right now. So
that's a whole word for one of y'all out there. Y'all
listen.
Be obedient.
Listen.
Be obedient.
Yes. So that was my main thing, just, you know, focusing on what I was truly supposed to be doing in that season in my life, and getting the book published and getting it out. So, yeah.
Amen. So, like, you know, if you guys need a little bit of inspiration, if y'all need some encouragement, like, you know, y'all don't even have to hit her up in her DM no more. Like, all y'all have to do is go get Pray Time off. Like, seriously, like, this book is truly encouraging. Like, I'm not going to give the book away, but there are some things that she went through in this book that, you know, I'm sure some of us go through on a daily basis, like with our jobs, with our 9-to-5s, and with our hustle. Because at the end of the day, she didn't just, can I say this?
Go ahead.
Okay, she didn't just have to leave her 9-to-5, but it was some elements of her hustle that she had to let go of too. So, you know, there are things in this book that can just, you know, change your perspective, change your mindset, change your total outlook on what it looks like to be an entrepreneur, and even just specifically what it looks like to be a female producer in this industry right now, in this season. So, you know, go get Pray Time off. Once again, I'm gonna show y'all.
Go get it. LondonElixir.com/PTO.
Yes. All that good stuff. So, once again, we celebrate you, sis. You get the go, girl, for this episode. And we're going to go into our next segment, which is the Pacho Weave segment.
Okay.
Pat that weave a little bit. So, you know, the Pacho Weave segment is usually all about breaking stereotypes and just kind of like exposing those stereotypes that come to block women of color, because y'all know we go through so much being women out here in these streets, and being a woman of color at that. So since I have my sister sitting at the table with me today, and since she already takes the seat at so many other tables out there, I just kind of want to tap into what it takes to break the stereotype of taking the seat at a table. And what do we do when we're presented with the opportunity to take a seat at the industry, or I won't even say the industry. What do we do when we want to take a seat at any industry that we are in, whether it's the music industry, whether it's the makeup and beauty industry, whether it is the corporate industry, like wherever you're at in life, if you are presented with the opportunity, do we make the seat? Do we make room for us? Do we come in and, you know, make a platform for ourselves, or do we take the seat? Do we actually go in and say, you know, this is mine, like this right here, like y'all already have this company, but y'all need me in this company. So what do? Do we just create? Do we make? Or do we actually break down the door and just take our seat at the table? And so I want to really specifically talk about the music industry, since you are in the music industry, and since there's a lot of women out there who probably want to tap into the music industry, want to become female producers, want to become the first Black woman to win a Grammy for producing this beat, or the first Hispanic woman to become to get a Grammy for producing, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Like, you know, and first, before we even dive into that part, because I'm gonna get ahead of myself. Before we even dive into the answer and the solution and everything, like, let's talk about the issue at hand too. Let's talk about like the barriers that are presented in the music industry. Like, I was reading this study by USC Amberg, and I'm gonna put the link below so you guys can go read the study yourself. And basically what they did was they analyzed diversity across a spectrum of over 700 popular songs from 2013 to 2018. And basically what they found was that the data showed that people of color, while we dominate on the charts, like we dominate like on the Billboard charts, we dominate like in a lot of different, you know, categories, very few are working as producers, and at least for women of color, like very few are working as producers. And then also they found out that out of 871 producers, only four of them were women of color. Okay, so what say you about these stats? Like, what say you? 4 out of 871 were women of color.
I think like what you were saying about we have to address the barriers that women, you know, have to deal with in the music industry specifically. I know like a main thing that I've heard, even with women who are just singers, not even producers, and they stop singing or they stop rapping or whatever it is.
Right.
They stop because they've had a negative experience with the men in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, they feel like their opinions aren't being heard, or they feel like people aren't taking them seriously, or they feel like people only want them around for other reasons, and they try to make it seem like they're interested in their music, but really they're interested in personal things. So yeah. So it discourages a lot of people because it is a male dominated industry. So if you have enough bad experiences, it'll make you feel like, well, dang, I don't want to do this anymore. So unfortunately, I feel like a lot of women experience situations like that. So back to your thing about, do we make a seat or do we take a seat? Sometimes you don't want to take a seat in an industry like that. You want to create your own environment where you could be comfortable and do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And so like, even with that being said, like, let's even talk about like, you know, like, have you experienced anything like personally that may have discouraged you, or that may, like, you know, cause you to rethink different things?
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I don't want to like just sound like I'm bashing guys, because a lot of my mentors are men in the music industry, and they've been great. Like they helped me like in so many different ways, like musically. So I credit a lot of what I know to being able to be around people like that. But there are also like even like small things, like if I'm at an event and like people are networking or whatever, and I tell people I'm a producer, sometimes people just kind of look at me like, okay, like you don't look like a producer. Like I'm gonna have to hear something. Like I just have to prove myself, you know. Ooh, but if I'm with a male, it's like, and the male says, oh, you know, she's a producer. It's like this whole level of respect. Like, oh, for real, she produced. Like since the man stamped me, you know. And it's just kind of like, really, I just told you I was a producer 5 minutes ago, and you paid me no attention. So just stuff like that, like, or you know, just being in studio situations and feeling like, you know, like I'll make a suggestion, people kind of overlook it, and then a guy will come in who wasn't in there when I made the suggestion. A guy will come in and say literally like almost the same exact thing that I've suggested. Oh my God, that's such a great idea. And it's like, I just said that like an hour ago, nobody listened to me. So just like stuff like that, people kind of like trying to overlook you, or, you know, even just like accepting that I am a producer is like really a big thing sometimes. Like, cause when I walk into the studio, if people don't know me, they think I'm a singer or somebody's girlfriend, or, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. Yeah.
Ooh. So, and it's so funny because now, being that the whole COVID situation happened, I've been working with Mike, and maybe if y'all don't know, like my husband Mike, he is a video producer or whatever, so he produces like music videos mostly. That's the majority of his work, but he also does other stuff too. And so we had just I've been helping him with his production work or whatever. So one time we had rented out a studio for an artist or whatever. And we walked in, and like the guy, the owner of the studio, like he just assumed that I was the artist because I was with two other guys. And it was just like, oh, well, here's the dressing room for you. And I just was like, I'm not the artist.
Right.
But it just kind of like, that assumption of like, that I can't be behind the scenes producing. Like I can't be like, helping with the actual like, production work. Like I have to be in the most daintiest role, which is in front of the camera, besides behind the camera. And so, I just felt a certain type of way. And I know, my husband didn't catch on to it. I know nobody else did, because you can only catch that when you are, in that situation. Like if you were there, you probably would have noticed it. You know what I mean? Because we are in tune. In tune. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And so, like that was like one of my first times like actually experiencing that, like in this entertainment industry, like because I hadn't been working with him for that long. But I totally can relate to what you're saying. Like you always get viewed as the person who like the most daintiest role. Like
I agree.
So why? That's my next question, you guys. Why does this happen? Like, why do we have to go through this, and why do we have to fight so hard? And this kind of goes back to what London was saying. Like the study was talking about 32 out of 75 women said that their views and abilities were often discounted. So that's one of the reasons why, like a lot of times men, they discount what we're saying. They don't really like, hear us. It's like they hear us, but they don't really hear us.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons. And then also it says that many also said that they were sexualized and stereotyped. So let's get into that a little bit. The sexualization and the stereotypation. Like, okay, so when we think about being sexualized in any industry, like it's not only like them, it's kind of like a thing where we talk about, okay, when you walk into a place, like it doesn't matter what you're wearing, it doesn't matter if you're not even wearing makeup, if your hair not done, just because you are a woman, there is the ability to just just say, okay, this is what they're used for, sex and more sex. And I say why, I want us to address the why, because once we address the why, then we can actually find the solution. So if men can put that aside and say to themselves, okay, like, instead of me looking at her as this, like, women are, the opposite sex. And ultimately, that's what we are created for, to be a helpmeet to the man or whatever. But if I could put that aside and actually look at this person as my business partner, if I could look at this person as, somebody with the ability to produce great music, you know what I mean? Besides that, besides the sexiness, besides, the fact that I'm attracted to her, or besides the fact that I'm attracted to women in general.
Right.
If I could put that aside and say this person brings value, she's pretty, but she brings value to the table. Like, and I value that.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to just demean her to just that aspect of, the fact that she is a beautiful woman. Like I need to put that to the side, and I need to respect her for what she offers and what she brings to the table.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of times, like, men, I've seen it in the studio or environment or whatever, like men will have women around who help build them up and help get them to the current position that they are in, whether they're doing like administrative work or, help, whatever it is. Like they may not be actually like producers or singers, but they're helping with the business side of things. And like the men will just demean them as if like they're not valued, as if, oh, well, I could do this without you and I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of be disrespectful toward the women because they're not like the actual producer or like whatever. Wow. So it's like, I could see why a lot of women have like these ill feelings toward the entertainment industry because of like all these situations that they've been in. It's like, nobody wants to continuously be disrespected, especially when you're bringing value to whatever the situation is, So it's unfortunate. And even with the whole being sexualized thing, like, I feel like it boils down to professionalism and like, so like me personally, I don't work with everybody. Like, just because you hit me up does not mean I'm going to work with you. I'm not like out here for money.
She said she got options.
Yeah,
y'all.
I'm not. And it's not even like I'm not going to work with you because like awesome, I don't like your music. Like I'm saying like I judge people's character.
Yeah.
Like that's how I choose who I'm going to work with or produce for.
That's
like
good.
I'm not out here just, if we have to be in the studio together, if you're going to put out a song that has something to do with my track, I want to make sure that I approve of the message that you're putting out. I want to make sure that your energy is good. I don't want to have issues with the process. I don't want to have issues with the split sheets. I don't want to deal with you trying to take me on a date or like, you know what I'm saying? It's like people will slide into my DMs like and try to make it seem like they're, oh well, you're a producer, like okay, but like they start off with, hey beautiful, I see you, like the first thing you say and it's something about like, and then you wonder like, oh I just want to interview you for my show. No you don't. The first thing you said was hey beautiful, hey gorgeous, I like your tattoos, or you know whatever it is. Like the first thing you say is something about my physical appearance, I'm automatically turned off to whatever the opportunity is that you're presenting. You know, so the whole sexualization thing is like really a big problem in the industry as well.
It
and
really is.
even like with interviews, you know what I'm saying, like I had to start getting questions in advance for some of these interviews because the topics things will go off topic. We'll start talking about the book, and then the next thing you know, we're talking also like just personal things. Also, what's up with your relationship life, and you know, and it's like, what are we here for?
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
Exactly.
So,
girl, that is good. Like you said, a whole bunch. Like I mean. And it even goes back to, like, I want to talk about the first thing you said when it comes to the roles, because, like, there are some women who play a very important part of a lot of businesses, but we do get, you know, demeaned when it comes to that. And so, you know, even, and I think the history, like, even if we look at the history, like, let's take away, you know, the fact that, you know, there are two things that stick out. Like, women, we are sectionalized, for one. Like we are in that section of being a woman, but then we do get marginalized also when it comes to us being women of color, because two very important groups of people were kept from voting. Okay. Men and women of color, black men, black women, we could not vote at one period in time. And also women could not vote in one period of time. And so, you know, that double, you know, stack on top of it, like it still continues to this day. Like it doesn't even just end like at the fact that now we have those rights, but now we still get put in, okay, so you want to be the CEO. Right. I thought you were just coming in to be the secretary.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We still get put into that box as if, like, you know, we are supposed to start at the bottom. You know what I mean? But no, like we are in a period of time where women are trying to go for the neck at this point. We trying to go for the head because, you know, it's not 1945 anymore. Exactly. Like, you know, we have the ability, and I even think it goes back to, you know, just knowing your worth as a woman, knowing what you bring to the table, not being afraid of, you know, the men out there who are going to sexualize you, the men out there who are going to stereotype you, because, you know, even as women of color or black women, like if we are strong about something, even what you said before, like, you know, a man can say something and a woman can say it, and then if we're not adamant enough, if we're not like, no, I said what I said, like sometimes we feel like we can't do that because then it look like we got attitude. You know what I mean? Then it look like we not professional, and it's like, oh, I don't want to work with her because she got an attitude, or she too emotional. Or,
and you know, that might be the reason why we feel like we have to be so adamant, why we have to speak the way that we speak, because we're not heard when we just speak regularly.
Come on, sis.
You know, like we have to enunciate, we have to like project, we have to make sure that you hear what we're saying, because if we speak regularly, you act like you don't hear it sometimes.
It gets overlooked. Yeah, it really does. And like, you know, that example that you used, like that's prime example. Like it doesn't just happen in the studio, but it's everyday life. It's real life, like from a regular conversation to, you know, just anything, honestly. So
as far as the whole being sexualized thing, also, like I just want to speak to any woman out there who, for any industry, there was a situation. I remember this girl telling me, I'm just going to go do this video to get my foot in the door, but I really want to be a singer, but you know, they just need a video girl for now, so I'm just going to do that to get my foot in the door and then hopefully make some connections and No, Like, I don't agree with that at all. And I was trying to explain to her, like, well, once you go and do that video, that's how they're going to look at you for the rest of everything. They're not going to respect you as a singer when you come in to try to do what you really want to do. Don't let them force you into any box or any position outside of your element, outside of your character, outside of what it is that you truly want to do, just so that you could get your foot in the door, per se. Like, no, that's not what we about to do.
Amen.
So it's not, I mean, you don't have to. I don't know. I just want to say that because I feel like a lot of women feel like they have to do certain things to get around certain people or be in a room. Like, what God has for you is for you, and you ain't gonna have to compromise your morals, your respect, your goals, or anything. You know what I'm saying, to get it. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure I said that real quick.
No, that's good. Like, and I you know, just piggybacking on that, like, you have to demand respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, like, it's not just about like minimizing yourself and then saying, oh, okay, I'm going to minimize myself to this so that I can gain in one area, and then I'll come in and get the respect that I need. Like, no, like, you know, just go in full force, like, take your seat, sis. Like, go ahead and take your seat, like, or make your seat. You know what I mean? And even, you know, going back to this topic, like, you know, the Pacho Weave segment, like, do we make our seat or do we take your seat? You know, and at the end of the day, I feel like whatever you want to do, like, either or, you just have to make sure that, you know, whether it's I want to go into this room and introduce myself as a producer, and, you know, if you don't hear me, you don't hear me. That's your loss. If you want to make your seat, that's you making your seat, and whatever they decide, if they don't receive it, they don't receive it. Keep it pushing, keep it moving, and keep making your seat. Somebody gonna hear you, sis. Somebody gonna hear you. And then if you want to take your seat, if you got, you know, people out there introducing you, if you got, you know, a good backing, like people behind you that are willing to, you know, let you in and say, hey, like, you know, we respect you, we got your back. Like, if, you know, whatever you need, sis, we got you. If you want to go in and take your seat wherever, just know your worth. Just don't ever lose sight of your worth. Like, I think regardless of which one you want to do, you just have to know how to do it and how, you know, you can add value to either way.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
We preaching today of anything. We preaching on For Yah Girl. So I'm about to give y'all this scripture. It's Matthew 11:12, and it says, "The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force." Okay, like y'all, and I got to bring it back around to. At this time, like the gospel was going forward, you guys. It was going forward. The kingdom of heaven was, it was suffering violence. It was going out there, and people were actually listening. They were actually accepting the gospel, okay? And then it says that the violent took it by force. Like they went out there and they kept on attacking it. They kept on making sure people was hearing what was going on, and that Jesus had been. We about to preach, okay?
Listen.
We about to preach that he died on the cross, and he rose on the third day, and he got up, and then he ascended to heaven. Okay, so there was a lot going on back in the day, but what they wanted to make sure was that the gospel was being preached, and people that didn't, you know, want to hear them, people that, you know, didn't understand it, well, guess what? We still gonna keep preaching, and whoever accept it, they accept it. Whoever don't accept it, hopefully one day they'll get it, but it's not going to stop my flow. It's not going to stop what we got going on. And so I say all that to say that, you know, at the end of the day, we are who we are. Like, we can't take our blackness off. You can't take off your ethnicity, like whatever ethnic background you have. Like, you can't take that off at the end of the day. Like, you are who you are. You can't change, you know, who you were brought into this world to be. If you came into this world a woman, like, I know people do sex changes and stuff now, you know, they do that or whatever. But at the end of the day, you came into this world one way, and we can't change that. Like, regardless of the fact that, you know, you can't get a sex change now. You still can't change the fact that you was born a woman. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But so, you know, at the end of the day, you are who you are, and we can't sit around and keep saying, woe is me. It's time out for woe is me. It's time out for, you know, at the end of the day, they didn't hear me. And so I'm sad. And so, you know, I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to keep pursuing it. Like, no, like, this is the time. This is the season. And this study the USC Amberg, like it did also say that, you know, finances was a barrier as well for many women of color as to why they don't pursue their dream. And, you know, for anybody out there who is just trying to pursue something and you're getting blocked more ways than one, the violent take it by force. Keep going. Like, it's going to happen, like, regardless. It may not happen how you want it to happen. It may not happen how I want it to happen, but you cannot give up, because we have to start breaking barriers, y'all. Like, 4 out of 871, 4 women out of 871 are women of color. Y'all remember that. Remember those stats the next time you are sexualized. Remember those stats the next time you are discounted. Remember those stats the next time you say that you don't have enough money to keep going, because we need you to keep going. Like, these stats are ridiculous. You know,
It's sad.
It's
sad.
crazy.
But it's like you said, like, even if people don't hear you, it's not, everybody not supposed to hear you.
True.
So
True.
Ain't no point in keeping on trying to, like, take a seat at the wrong table.
Ooh.
So sometimes you're not meant to sit at that table, and that's why they're not going to hear you. Like,
come on.
Since we in the word, it, like, when the Israelites, when Moses was trying to get Pharaoh to let the Israelites go, it said that the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Come on.
And, like, I never heard, like, until I read the Bible for myself, I never read the story like that. I had heard it, like, you know, the Pharaoh, like, Moses said, let him go, and Pharaoh was like, no. And the whole time I thought Pharaoh was just being mean. It said the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. And sometimes, like, people's hearts are hardened because you're not supposed to go that route. God wants to show you that you could do it through him. It's not you don't need favors from Pharaoh or whoever these people are that are not listening to you. You don't need them. You need God. And sometimes God is having them tell you no so that you could actually get what you need from God.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Girl. You better say that. Like, that's a whole, ooh. Okay, we ain't even gonna go in. Obviously, we're gonna have to have her come back. We're gonna have to talk some more about these different things, like, in the music industry, because it's real. I mean, for real, I think everybody probably at one time thought, I want to do something in the music industry. And you probably double thought yourself. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I did. At one point in time, I wanted to be a rapper. And even with that, like, with Christian, I wanted to be a Christian hip hop rapper. And even with that, like, right now, I can truly only name one or two Christian female hip hop rappers that are really doing it, but really only one that's on that level, like a high platform. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it shouldn't be that. And so I say, you know, we gonna have to her come back, because this is a real topic, and we do need to talk more about it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go into the next segment, y'all. The last, the second to last segment is Lift Every Voice. And so really, this segment is all about the community. Like, how do we inspire change behind us? Like, how do we pour back into people that, you know, may be coming up? Like I said, like, we probably all had that dream that, you know, we may want to tap into the music industry. I want to tap into this, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, but I just don't know how. I don't know where to start, how to start. You know what I mean? Like, what would you say to your younger self, or somebody like you who wants to be like you, but they just don't know what to do or where to start?
Yeah, for me, I would say get around people who are doing it.
Okay.
That's really, really important, whether they're men or women or whatever. Because for me, I feel really blessed, because the only reason I even knew what music production was because I happened to be in a situation where I was placed around somebody who was into music production. I was taking piano lessons, and I quit the basketball team, and the basketball coach was like, okay, you have to make us a song since you're quitting to do music. And I was like, okay, but I was only taking piano lessons at the time, so I knew nothing about a whole production, you know. So one of the janitors at my high school, named Baba Howe. And
What's up, Baba House?
yeah, hey. I'm gonna take him to the Grammys when I go.
Okay.
But he was really, really into music production, and that was he linked me. My coach linked me with him. So my mom and I went over his house. He had this whole studio set up in his house, and I had the melody idea for the song. I had wrote some lyrics, and he showed me how to add drums and arrange the beat. And you know,
Wow.
that was like me being exposed to music production. I had never even thought about what that was before, and at that moment, that's what I knew. That's when I knew that's what I wanted to do. So just it's very important to be around people who, if you feel like you want to do something, or even if you don't know what it is that you want to do, start exposing yourself to different things. Start shadowing people. Start just getting in different environments to see what it is that will spark a passion or a flame in you, because that was really, really important to me. And then after you find out what it is that you want to do, study it. Like it's 2020, you could get anything off of YouTube. Like YouTube, and there's so many online like academies and courses, and just there's no excuse to not be able to learn something about what it is that you want to pursue. So those are the two main things I say.
Okay. And then too, like, you know, what if, you know, the no's just keep coming? Because I feel like that's like, you know, something that young people have an issue with, you know, being told no. Like, you know, like I can't, even when I was younger, like it was hard for me to hear no. And so a lot of times, like when we get told no, like we tend to believe it, and we tend to say, oh, okay, this person told me no, this person said they can't work with me, or this person said they don't like what I'm doing, so maybe that means it's not for me. Like, you know, did you ever go through that? And what can you say to, you know, young people out there who may, you know, not necessarily know how to accept the no and keep moving?
Yeah, I'm different. My answer ain't really
different.
politically correct as far as like, I really don't be caring. Like, if you tell me no, I really don't care. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to go cry, or like, especially in an industry like this, rejection really is a big part of the industry, men or women or whatever it is, because there's so many people trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. So if no is all it takes for you to just lay down and give up, then this ain't for you. Like, go get a job. Go work a regular job. Like, I mean, so that's like, for me, I don't know. I just don't care. Like, people tell me no, it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to just move on, because I feel like for me, I could get whatever it is that I'm supposed to have.
Right.
Like through the right channels. So, I mean, this is not the only, I don't look at any opportunity as the only opportunity I'm ever going to have. I don't look at any person as the only way I'm going to be able to do something or progress. You know, like I'll make my own seat before I let somebody say no to me, like stop me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's really good. I love that. So really what I took from what she said too is just developing tough skin. Yeah. Like you know, regardless of what industry that you're in, sometimes if you do get told no, you have to let that develop you. You have to let that develop you into somebody who, you know, okay, now I got another coat. I got another layer. This person just told me no. It's not going to stop me. But now, you know, I'm stronger for the next no. Or, you know, I'm hopeful that the next no won't be a no. It might be a yes. You know what I mean? So, you know, development. Just let it develop you.
Yeah. Because a lot of times, too, you're not ready for certain things. And if you let somebody say no, like, it's one thing to take it as, like, because, of course, I'm going to be like, I mean, whatever. I know I'm dope, so whatever. Right. But it's another thing when they say no and they give you that constructive criticism.
Ooh, yes.
Take it. Develop yourself, like you said, not only your tough skin, but your craft, your skill. You might not be ready. Like, for whatever it is that you're trying to go for, you might not be there yet. Yes. So don't get so high and mighty in your head to where you feel like, oh, can't nobody tell me no. They crazy. They don't know what they talking about. No, sometimes they do know what they talking about, and you just need to work a little harder. You need to develop yourself a little more. So, you know.
And too, they could be wrong.
They could be wrong.
Like, they could just be hating on you. You know, they see the greatness.
Exactly.
Or, you know, they just don't want to let you be great. Exactly. You know what I mean? Because I remember American Idol, or was it it was American Idol. Jennifer Hudson, she was on there, and she didn't win. She won, I think she was like, she made it to like the last round, like the second or third round or something like that, but she still ended up getting that part in Dreamgirls, and people started to see, like, you know, how big of a voice she really had. And so, you know, I bet that was the biggest regret the judges on American Idol even like had, because I think the person who won, I don't even remember who won in that season, but I remember Jennifer Hudson though, and I remember her performance in Dreamgirl, you know what I mean? And I know to this day she's still great, and she even went on to be on The Voice. So now, you know, she went from being judged to now she is the judge. You know what I mean? So sometimes people could be wrong.
Yep.
And, you know, what they're saying can't necessarily, if she would have took that no and said, oh, this just ain't,
Yeah.
I ain't cut out to do this.
Right.
Like, this ain't, you know, what I can do because I can't take another no.
Right.
You know, she would have not been who she is today.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
definitely.
yeah, guys, like, definitely do what you got to do to continue to pursue your dream. Don't take, you know, no for an answer, period. Okay. And the last segment, you guys, is the word of the day, you guys. So like we said, today's discussion was all about taking a seat at the table. And so the word of the day is take your seat, period. Like, you know what I mean? Like, take your seat, like, regardless of how you have to do it. Like my sister said not too long ago, she will make her seat before she allows somebody to take her out of the situation. Like, if that's what you have to do, if you have to create a lane for yourself, if you have to create a lane, create that lane. Don't allow yourself to be discouraged in the dream. Don't allow your dream to be deferred. Come on, Langston Hughes. Don't allow your dream to be deferred. Don't let it, you know, dry up like a raisin in the sun. Okay. So I'm just being real, y'all. Like, y'all have to take your seat. And also, don't ever feel like you can't do something or that industry is so saturated. Like, you know, because we don't see it. Like Jasmine, she may feel like it, or she may have felt like at one point in time that there were a lot of women out there trying to do the same thing that she's doing. But as we see, the studies show that there's not a lot. And sometimes, you know, even that saturation, that, you know, that image of saturation, like, oh, this one is already doing it, or this person already got it, or this person already accomplished that. You know what I mean? Like, it can also allow you not to do what you're called to do, but take your seat anyways. Like, there's enough room at the table for all of us. There's enough room at the table for all of us. I'm gonna get a little closer to the mic. There's enough room at the table for all of us. Okay. And so, you know, that's my word.
Yes. I like that.
You got anything to add? You got anything that you want to add on to that, sis?
I think you pretty much covered that. It's enough room at the table for everybody.
It's enough room for everybody to win. So, you know, we just got to be willing to win together.
Yes.
Like, as women, like, we got to, that's why she here on my podcast.
Yes.
Because we winning together.
That's right.
Because we in this thing together.
Yes.
Okay.
And then to the men, like, who may be watching a podcast and listening, like, don't be afraid to help a woman up in the industry. Don't be afraid to go against what the norm is in your situation.
Make sure the mic on for that one. Yes.
That's the main thing I want to say, because a lot of men don't even realize what's going on. Sometimes they don't even realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy how many parallels there are. I know we didn't get into all of this, but it's crazy how many parallels there are to how women are treated in industries or whatever to, you know, what's going on now with how Black people are treated in America. You know, it's like a lot of people don't even realize how what they're doing is offensive or oppressive or, you know, helps to further the agenda. Of, you know what I'm saying? So as a man, if you happen to stumble across this, and like, just don't be afraid to go against the norm and to lift a woman up and to, you know, create a different type of environment in whatever business it is that you have. So
that's really good. Like, create that environment. For real. Like, even if you see it, shut it down. If you see that, because sometimes we need that. We need that help. Like, you know, we can't do it by ourselves. So, you know, if you see your sis going through something, just step up for her. Like, you know, like, you ain't got to go and let her know, like, I just did this on your behalf. Right, you know what I mean? Like, you could do it behind closed doors, or whatever conversations need to be had, let them be had. But at the end of the day, like, just, you know, step up to the plate.
Yes.
That's the call to action today. Call to action. Step up to the plate for your sister. Okay? So we're going to wrap it up right there, y'all. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said, all of the links are going to be down below. How you can follow Miss London Elixir. You can follow her journey. You want to give them the website real quick one more time?
My website is londonelixir.com. That's ELIXIR. And literally everything is on there. Instagram, all of that. Just London Elixir.
Great. And so the links to the podcast, Pod For Your Girl. Share it. Like it. Subscribe. Hit the notification notification bell so y'all can get notified when we put out these good videos, when we put out new podcasts. Become a part of the community and really, really engage in the conversation. We want to hear comments, feedback from you guys, whatever y'all got to say. And even if y'all got a topic that y'all want to talk about, give me some ideas, give me some topics, because we want to expose stuff. We want to break barriers. We want to break chains. That's what For Yah Girl is all about. Inspiring our community to grow and go for it. Okay.
Yes.
So once again, it's your girl Nwugochi. It's your girl London.
Hi.
This was For Yah Girl. We out.
Bye.